Okay, good morning to all. Today's session, starting with the continuation of primary meristem, and in the last session we discussed apical meristem, and the second derivative or the kind of meristem is intercalary meristem. Okay, here in intercalary meristem, it is already discussed or defined that it is intercalated with the permanent tissues which is developed from the primary meristem in shoot. Okay, so here in this, the apical meristem during growth, which separates a group of cells. That means while the elongation of stem or the roots, the apical meristem, and thereafter the intercalary meristem, which is differentiated from the primary meristem. And the primary meristem definitely which generates from the primary meristematic cells, and those group of cells are already defined as what? The permanent tissues, primary permanent tissues. So here the apical meristem, which during the growth, which separates the group of cells, and it is intercalated with permanent cells. From where the permanent cells are derived? Already from the primary meristem. And here it is seen, it is means the intercalary meristem is seen associated with the internodes of monocots. So we know that both the dicots and monocot plants are there, and generally it is very well noted as in the case of monocot plants, which is present in the internode. What is node? What is internode? Actually, in a shoot or in a stem, we can see the leaf which arise from where? The nodal portion, and leaf and branches which is raised from the nodal portion, and the in between two junctions in a stem, and those area do not produce any leaf or branches, which is called the internode. Okay, so the intercalary meristem, which is always seen associated with the internodes, and it is especially in monocots we can see it is present in the internodal region. And the internodal growth in length. So from a nodal portion, supposed to be there is branches are raised, and those branches which enlarges, and we can see or observe what? The elongation or extension. But how the node and internodal differentiation and the internodal length is increased? It is by the activity of the intercalary meristem. Why it is mentioned as intercalary meristem or the activity of intercalary meristem? Because what we know that the meristem is actively dividing cells which produce more number of cells, and what happened? Of course, that more tissues are developed, and which is occupied or distributed to the internodal portion. So normally what we can see, the internodal growth in length is concerned with the activity of intercalary meristem. Okay, while coming to not only in monocot or dicot, in plants, what we can see, there are the other group of plants which is called gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, what we see, either the intercalary meristem, apical meristem is definitely present in all plant bodies, and as in the case of intercalary meristem, how we can observe or how we can differentiate? As in the case of gymnosperms, as an example like pinus, we can easily understand that the presence of intercalary meristem in the junctions or the internodal portion. So here in gymnosperms it is present, it is means the intercalary meristem is present at the leaf base, that is base of the needle. Needle means in gymnosperms the leaves are not differentiated similar to angiosperms, that is monocots or dicots. As in the case of coniferous members, example like pinus, definitely the leaves are modified into needles, and at the base of the needle we can see the presence of intercalary meristem. Okay, so here in the diagram or the vertical section we can see first of all the shoe tip. As in shoe tip there is the apical meristem which is called as promeristem. Okay, and their increase in length, that is the shoot is going upwards, and normally increase in length which seems to be increase in the or length of the plant become increased. How we can see apical meristem which divide and give more and more tissues, and which is by the activity of promeristem. In the last but session we can discuss. Okay, and here supposed to be what we can see the vertical section or observing a microscopic section, we can see the node and internodal portion. Normally the node or internodal portion which possess permanent cells which is derived from the primary meristem. Okay, and in between such permanent cells, that is the internode, we can see there are intercalary meristem. Okay, so it is intercalated, it is mingled, or what we can say, it is along with the primary permanent cells which is present in the plant body. So in between such permanent cells are there, and there the distribution of intercalary meristem is seen. So according to the multiplication of intercalary meristem or those meristematic cells, what happened? The increase in internodal height become formed. Okay, so here one of the example like monocot stem that you can see, example like bamboo, there we can see there is a node and internode, and such elongation, how the node and internode become increased or developed. നമുക്കറിയാം മുളയുണ്ട് അല്ലേ, മുളയിൽ എന്തുണ്ട്? സി നോർമലി നമ്മൾ മുള നാഴിയായിട്ടൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കും അരിയൊക്കെ മെഷർ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട്. ഓക്കെ, and there is a cylinder like portion, and cylinder like portion, young condition of the bamboo or monocot plants, what we can see, it is the node and internodal length become very much reduced, and as and when the growth increase, the node and internodal length become elongated or extended. It is by the activity of the intercalary meristem. So where the intercalary meristem is seated? Of course in between two joints or the nodal portion, and which is seen in what there in bamboo like monocot plants. And one more condition is we can understand that whether the intercalary meristem is present in the nodal portion. How? Because in bamboo or in monocots there the leaves are developed or small branches are developed from the nodal portion, and such nodal portion which generates either increase in length of the internode or the development of branches or the development of leaves, it is by the activity of this intercalary meristem. Okay, got it? And here the example like in gymnosperm, where it is situated, of course the intercalary meristem is present at the base of the needle. So we can see the long shoot, it is the large branches, and from the long shoot there is a lateral small shoot which is called as dwarf shoot, and from the dwarf shoot normally the needle like leaves are produced, and it is so while the needles are developed or started the initiation of needle development, and gradually the length of the needle become increased. How it is? It is because of, here is the long shoot, here is the dwarf shoot, and from the base of the dwarf shoot there the needle or leaves are produced. So the increase in length of the needle which indicates, what indicates? Of course the elongation of leaf or needle like structures produced in gymnosperm. It is by the activity of the intercalary meristem, that is the intercalary meristem is seated or placed or derived or dedifferentiated at the base of the needle. So this is the second type of meristem, which is derived from primary meristem, which is called intercalary meristem. Okay.